Yes, let's start it. Okay, okay, just give me okay, just like imagine this. When we just go like 10 years back or 20 years back, when we had like screens in the sense we had computers, we had phones, but we didn't have like smartphones, right? The phones, the job of phone was just to make a call or to send a message. This is what we had. If you're going even like 10 years back, also that's the case. Now, if we go like couple of decades back, when internet got introduced, internet was introduced just to show like information on the internet. Okay, so anyone can access any data from wherever they are sitting. Correct. uh, that's the reason internet got introduced, and it got like pretty famous and all those things. Now, the major part, right? If you want to access the internet, the major thing was, if a ex person want to access some information through internet, he need to have a computer. That was like a basic criteria, right? If he didn't have like a computer, how he used to access the internet? Because we didn't, that was the time when we didn't have like multiple screens. We didn't have like smartphones, we didn't have like tablets, we didn't have anything, and there were computers, but still those computers was kind of rare, right? We didn't have like laptops as well. So this is how the internet came into picture, and after like 10 years it was the same scenario. But after like a couple of decades again, like 2 decades, there was like scenarios where this came into picture. What, like mobile phones, smartphones, tablets, laptops, and all those things came into picture. Now, here is like one thing like developers faced problem, right? So initially they used to develop websites, right? Initially they used to develop the websites, and that was like kind of cleanly visible on the desktop computer, correct? Because whatever the information they were putting, yeah, that was like kind of, they don't need like much CSS, just like give background color and color to that text, and they were fine. Okay. And initial websites were also not that much fancy and not that much heavy. It was like lightweight, and that's it. Okay, that was the thing, and it was going good. Okay. Now, after the like lot of new screens. When I say screens, right, what exactly I mean is like devices. Okay. So when the devices came into picture, such as smartphone, tablet, laptop, the problem with this thing was, developers were developing the websites, but they were developing the website considering we are developing for the desktop screen. I mean, that will be the big screen we'll be developing for. If you open the same website in either like a laptop, tablet, or mobile, that used to get messed up, right? Because the alignments and all those things that was actually built for the desktop, and we are viewing it for the mobile, right? This was the problem which was happening. So when this problem came into picture, right, so CSS community, CSS developers, they introduced something known as RWD. Okay, RWD in the sense responsive web design. Okay, so what this says, responsive web design is nothing but, if you're like building some website, build the website in such a way that it should be accessible. Okay. So build a website in such a way that it should be accessible in all the devices. For example, if I'm the person who doesn't have like desktop, but if I'm viewing it on my phone, then I should be able to see the website properly, right? It should be properly aligned, and it should be properly functioning. Okay, so that's the thing. Now, if I'm the person who doesn't own like a phone, smartphone, or like tablet as well, I just like have laptop. Even if I open in like laptop, that website should be properly aligned, properly functioning. Okay. So wherever you see that, right, most of the time we just like target like three set of devices: phones, tablets, and laptops or desktop. Okay, that's the same thing. Okay. So we call this as a responsive web design. Okay. Sorry, responsive web development. When you say responsive web design, that will go into completely design thing. Responsive web development. Okay. So where you have to, there are like a lot of constraints which you need to keep in mind. But this is like one of the interesting topics in CSS, where you will learn like multiple scenarios, how you can move the element somewhere to somewhere. And there might be some scenarios where the, what do you call, the design of the mobile website will look completely drastically different then how it should look like on the desktop, right? They have all these things. Okay, so that's what like responsive web design means. Responsive web development means. Are you clear like with the concept? What is exactly that means? You were talking about responsive, right?
Yeah.
Are you guys clear?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Okay. Awesome. So that was the term coined first, like responsive web development, right? After that, they introduced something known as responsive media queries, okay, in CSS. How to use responsive media queries and all those things. I will see that. I mean, that's fine. Now, after that, right, we have like one more term known as the mobile first approach. Okay, so wait a second. Let me share my screen. Uh, able to see?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. So if you see the terminal, right, I don't have like anything here. I just have this empty terminal. So I'm like onto desktop. Okay. So what I'll do is here, let me just zoom this in a bit so that it's much clearer what you're doing. Okay. Now I'll not do anything. It's like a normal thing. I'll just create like a new folder here, mkdir responsive CSS. Okay. I'll go to that responsive CSS and I'll say touch index.html and styles.css. Okay, right. So this is what I'll do. Okay, now I'll open this in VS Code. Now, if you see here, index.html, let me just do like responsive CSS. Okay, let me quickly link this as well, right? Just like side by side here. I'll just put like link tag here. Okay, and I'll say style.css. Okay, this is done. Just for a sanity check, what we can do is I can give like body background color as just to see that this is working or not. Okay, okay, fine. Yeah. I don't have live server installed. It's fine. Okay. If you see here, like this looks pretty bad, but yeah, it means like our CSS is working fine. Okay, so this is what we have done. Correct. Now, what I wanted to talk about is, yeah, so we did talk about, I mean, already on that they covered like responsive web design, right? I mean, like, we did talk about like what is responsive web design or development. The second thing which I want to talk about is like MFA, okay? So this is known as mobile first, first approach, okay? Can anyone tell me like what is a mobile first approach? Any idea? Any idea or no idea? Nothing?
Firstly, we have to give the layouts to the mobile.
Exactly. That's what I was expecting. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, so mobile first approach is it's like one of the approach to develop a websites. Okay, so usually till now what we used to do is whenever we get a design, right, we used to keep desktop view and we used to develop it, correct? So that is like normal traditional one. Okay, now what that does mobile first approach means is whenever you get a design, you will even get a design for mobile as well. Okay, for so get that design first for first to the mobile and develop the mobile design first. Okay, you have to keep we will even like talk about like couple of, for example, let me just go here. uh, hmm, Let me change this color, this looks pretty bad. Yep. Now yeah, so see here we need to learn about like few more things. If you just like right click and go to inspect, right? Okay, so here at the top you have this arrow mark, right? After that you have this some icon related to this phone and this tablet, correct? The second one in the Chrome. Okay, so this is like mostly used when you want to develop like responsive websites. Okay, so why this is mostly used? Because this actually simulates how your website will look in mobile, how your website will look in tablet, how your website will look like in different dimension, different resolution phones or tablets or like devices in simple. Okay, so for example, I have this here, right? I have written like responsive CSS, RWD, MFA, and all those things, right? So if I want to see this, how this is appearing in the phone, you don't have to deploy this to Netlify and run that link on your phone. Okay, that's like a very hard process. So for that, what you can do is you can just like right click and do inspect. You will get this particular layout, and here just like click on the second part. Okay, I mean like second icon. If you click on the second icon, you will get this. See here, here at the top, we are getting something as dimensions, right? Now current dimension is iPad Pro is selected. Okay. And the resolution for this or like width and height is, see here, this is the width 1024 and height is 1366 pixels. Okay, these are in pixels. Okay. Now I don't want this to view on iPad Pro first. I want it to view on some device. Okay, some small phone. So for that, what I can do is just like go here to the drop down. Just again, yep, yeah, go here to the drop down, dimensions drop down, click on that, and you have like a lot of phones here, right? Now ideally see, there are like few things you just need to make sure whenever you're like building uh, websites for phone. Just like don't just keep like one phone. For example, see, I have kept like this Pixel 2, right? Now what exactly this means is whatever you're developing, this will show how it will look like a Pixel 2 phone. Pixel 2 is a phone, right? And if you want to change it to iPhone X, if you iPhone 10, see, this is how it will your website will look like on iPhone 10. Now one thing which I keep on telling the students is whenever you are developing websites for the phone, okay, so you're following a mobile first approach. Whenever you are planning to do that, just don't keep like only one phone. Even if you're like developing by keeping the reference of like iPhone 10, right? After that you should change to Pixel 2 and check whether something is breaking or not, because as the resolution grows or like shrinks, right, there might be things where you are like fixing the positions, right? Those things will break there because what happens is you have like fixed the thing. Now you have, let's assume you have created like one div and you have given like width as 411, correct? You should not give that kind of what you call fixed width, fixed height. Okay, but and if you go to the smaller phones or if you go to like larger phones, this is like width is same. Okay, let me go to iPhone 10, right? Here if you go, right, the width is 375 pixels. Now you will get like a scroll bar here. Why? The width you have given is like kind of overflowing the screen. Okay, so avoid those kind of mistakes. Instead of doing that, what you can do is give it in percentages. Okay, so you can give like, if you want this to cover completely, you can give width as 100%, right? So that will look properly in all the devices. Okay, are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Till now, okay, and guys, like please be honest at, at the last moment, don't say like you didn't get it. So my question is, till now whatever I explained, right, is this clear? This is for everyone, not like only one or two people. Go ahead and
Yes, sir.
respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, I got only five responses. What about others?
Yes, sir.
Okay, six.
Yes. There are
Yes, sir.
four.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, see, usually what happens right nowadays, the trend is the classes are online, right? People just join for the sake of attendance. Okay, they join and they click join. Once they accept it, they'll just go and sleep. Don't do that. Okay, don't do that mistake. Okay, so this is what how you will be checking your these things. Okay, so this is phone, and if you want to check it in like on tablet, here you can go and select like iPad and see here in iPad it will look like this. Yeah, obviously now it's the same thing, but we'll see about that. Okay, then we have like iPad Pro, and we have like Surface Duo. Then we have like some even like if you want to check like with like custom responsiveness, you can click here and click on responsive. Okay, and here you can put like any width and height. For example, let's assume you're testing on some laptop which here doesn't exist. Okay, put here like for example 1366 is my width and 768 is the width of the laptop. Okay, height of the laptop. Okay, so this is how it will look like in the laptop. Okay, and even you can customize the devices. For example, you want this width to appear as a list here, you can click edit here, right? Click edit here, and here add a custom device. Okay, so let's assume I add like uh, laptop laptop mid res. It is like laptop like medium resolution. Okay, so for for the width I'll say 1366, and for the height I'll say 768. Okay, now I'll say add here. Okay, now if you click here, right, and you can see here like laptop mid resolution, right? So that's will be like 1366 into 768. Correct. You can go back and you can come back here. See here, you don't have to click the responsiveness. You can even add the custom devices like this. Okay, and even you, if you want like some different devices, you think like in this list they are present but it's not present in the list, just go and check mark that list. For example, if you see in the list, right, we don't have Nexus series, right, but we have like Nexus series here, Nexus 10, Nexus 4, Nexus 5. You can, what you can do is click on here Nexus 6, and if you come here, right, Nexus 6 is present here. Now click on Nexus 6, you can see this aram se, right. I hope these things are clear. This is like one of the major part whenever you're working with the responsive web development. Okay, you should be able to know how you can toggle the devices, how you can check the, I mean, like resolution in various devices and all those things. Great. So I just like revise it like whatever we did till now. If you want to toggle the responsive mode, just like right click and inspect here. Okay, I have already toggled it. That's it. I'll just like untoggle it. Okay, I'll just like close this. Right click, inspect. Okay, you'll get like this open in the Chrome. You'll be having this. Okay, if you're using Firefox, it will be also having similar thing, but the icon placement will be kind of different. It might be in right side or bottom somewhere. Okay, just like search for this kind of icon, you will be getting. Okay, if you click on this, right, you have like this toolbar where you can select whatever the configuration you need, and based upon that just design it. Okay, okay, all right, great. Now this is the one thing. Okay, so now what we'll be doing is uh okay, so who are present in the class?
So,
Yep.
for every phone, we should code in different way. If it is like size of the phone will be different for everyone, every
Yeah,
class.
yes, that's like a very valid question, Afia. I mean, like, thanks for asking this. As see, usually what happens is, as the okay, that's good. Yep. So usually what happens is, as the days are passing by, we are getting like a lot of phones, right? New phones, and like we have like different resolutions for that. But you can't keep on developing for each and every phone, right? So what we say is we should keep like a three breakpoints. Okay, at least three breakpoints. I'll just talk about that breakpoints in like in some time. Just like develop for like 3 to 4 breakpoints. That's enough. When we say breakpoints, right, what we are saying is develop for like that particular resolution. That's enough. Okay, so for example, I'll say develop for mobile and just like cut it till like 600 pixels. Okay, so what we're saying is even from 0 to 600 pixel it should look same. Okay, for example, here the width is 412 pixel, right? In this also it will look same. and if you go to Moto G4, the width is 360 here. Here also looks same. The range we are keeping is 0 to 500 or 0 to 600. It's up to the developer and it's up to the design how you want to keep it. So you don't have to keep on developing for all the phones, but what you have to keep is you have to make sure to keep like standard breakpoints, okay, and go throughout that. That's it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yep. Any other doubts? That was a good question. Any other questions? Nope. Okay. All right. Once again. Okay. Fine. So now what we'll be doing is I had that assignment. I will show you once again. Let me just. Okay. So here in the CSS we had CSS one. Hmm. If you see this right, I mean like yeah. So all of you did this, correct? I mean, like all of you created this kind of design, right? And now when we gave you this assignment, right? When we ask you to do this, so the basic instinct was you have to create something like this. That's the reason what you did was you didn't toggle the responsiveness because we were aiming this to create for the desktop version, correct? So what you did was you just like took like 50% height, here also 50% height, and like 100% width, 50 width, and you did this, okay. But if you see in the same repo, right, in the design we have like one more file known as mobile design. Did we share this with you? Did we share this with you?
No.
No, right?
No.
Yeah, so we didn't share this with you because you were like still learning CSS, okay. So see, we developed with this, right? Wait a second, let me open this side by side so that it's, yep, this and this. Huh. So we gave like one design, this design, and we asked you to develop, and you guys did it. And that was like very amazing. You even like deployed it, right? But when we were viewing this, when you were deploying that, and you were viewing that in the phone, right? And when we were viewing that in the mobile, right? This was kind of messed up. Did anyone observe that? Like if you have opened that link in the phone, this used to kind of look messed up, right? So why it's messed up? Because the layout which we have designed this is for the desktop. This is not for the mobile, right? Now if you see here, this is the layout for the mobile. Now what it exactly means is whenever you're getting a website, usually if the designer is professional, if he knows like what exactly he's doing, then he will provide you all the design details and guidelines. Design details in the sense he will be providing you the mobile design as well, tablet design as well, desktop design as well. So in this case, this is how it should look like in our phones, okay. So once you go to the desktop, it will look like this, okay. It's the same website, but it will look like this in the phone, but it will look like this in the desktop, okay. So this is how whenever you like design, right, you have to you will get like multiple designs, okay. Even we don't have like any tablet design as of now, we'll just like focus on like similar thing, okay. Now we'll see how we can change the design accordingly when we grow the what you call resolution, width, and height also, okay. Now again, coming back to this mobile first approach, so what happens is whenever you're getting a design, you should always focus on starting the design with this, okay. So we call this a mobile first approach. You should not directly build this. If you build this, that will be kind of like causing problems. And why people suggest to go with like mobile first approaches, because if you see in the current scenario, right, there are like a lot of people who use phones more than the people who use laptops and desktop, right? So that's the reason you have to make sure your site is accessible in the sense it should be properly functioning, properly viewed in like phones, like priority I'm talking about, okay. It's not like if you're like building for the phones, you should not build for the desktop. It's not like that, okay. It should be functioning, but the higher priority, for example, if you consider 51% for the phone, that will be like 49% for the our desktop. Okay, it's like only like slightly 1% difference, that's it. So this is how you have to build it. Okay, are we clear till now with the designs and like mobile designs, desktop designs? Any questions till now?
Clear, sir.
No, sir. Yeah, clear.
Clear. Okay, awesome. Now what I'll be doing is, see, now I'll tell you one thing. I'll just show you how to write like media queries and all those things. But the assignments is whatever the assignments you all have did, you have to convert all those assignments into responsiveness. Okay. So first you have to build like mobile design, then you have to go and do desktop one. Okay. Then you have to deploy it. This is what you have to do. Again, these will be your assignments, but let's see how we have to build this. Okay, let's see what are the things we need to consider when we build this, right? One second, let's give me a second. Okay. Oops. Okay, so where is that? Yep. So this is what we have, right? Oh, let me connect the charger. S- hmm, okay, fine. So yep, let me download this image, right? Download image. Hmm, okay, this is fine. Now, what I'll do is I'll just keep this side by side, this tab, especially. Okay. I'll just keep this side by side. Okay. And I will move this dock to the bottom. Okay. That's fine. Just like reduce this to 75%. Yep. This is fine. Okay. And if you see here, if you notice this, right, the device which I've, okay, I can reduce this, right? That's fine. I don't need this. I can keep this 100% if you want. Yep. The device which I have selected here is like Moto G4. Okay. If you see the resolution, it's like 360 into 640. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just like keep this as my base device and let's develop on this. Then what we'll do is we'll just like cross test this whether this is working in the same thing or not. Okay. uh okay, let's get started. Okay, now whenever I said was like let's start with like mobile first approach, right? So whenever you're like building any websites, right, the simple thing is just don't keep on if for example if you're like putting this joiner community, if you don't just like put the joiner community and don't style it, don't do that individual kind of thing. So the simple is just like lay out the skeleton first, lay out the skeleton in the sense, you guys tell me how many sections we have here, how many sections we have here?
Three.
Three.
Three sections, right? So what I can do here is let me create like three sections. You can use like div tag or you can use like section tag as well. Okay, that's like just a semantic tag. I'll just like use section tag. Okay, I'll create like section tag, section okay. So I have like three sections, right? So in this three section, the first section is like joiner community, right? For this, what I'll do is I'll just add a class here. Okay, I'll just give a class, but I have not defined anything. I'll say joc in the sense joiner community hyphen container. Okay, container in the sense it's the section which is wrapping. I'm just like giving the class name. Okay, you can just give here whatever you want, and it's because it will be easier for us just to build it. Okay, so we have like this monthly subscription and YS, right? Let's give the class name here as uh monthly subscription. Okay, monthly subscription container, or in short we can just go as like MS container, right? MS container monthly subscription. Here I can give YSYWU container. Okay, I'm just like keeping it short. So we have like this three sections. Okay, so we don't have any here width and height. That's the reason if I just like reload this page, right, nothing is coming. Okay, now let me remove this. I don't need this. correct? So if you see here, like it's empty. Who's joining now? Okay. So then in the first section, how many elements do we have in the first section?
Three.
Three elements.
Three.
So yep, so we have this right now. For this, it's up to our what you call convenience which tags we want to use. See, we can use like either h2 h3 whatever you want here, or you can go with like a paragraph tag and you can redesign it now. But if you observe this carefully, right, there are like one common pattern which I'm observing here. See, we have like this joiner community, right, and we have this monthly subscription, then we have YS. Just observe this heading. It looks kind of similar, right? Similar in the size, I mean, right? YS monthly subscription, join and community. So I can give like I mean, like it's since it's like a same size, what I'll go with, I'll just go with like a paragraph itself. Okay, I'll not use like any headings here because it will be easy to just like style the paragraphs. Okay, so okay, so the first, let's concentrate on the first. So we have like paragraph, we have like joiner, right? So we have this joiner community. Okay, we have this, right? Then next is 30-day hassle-free money back guarantee. So let me just like write another paragraph here. 30-day hassle-free money back. Fine. So we have gain access to our full library of tutorials along with experts code reviews. Gain access to, what was that? Library of, perfect for any developers who are serious about honing their skills. Okay, so it's done. So we have like this three, right? Now if I save this, see, we're getting this. Okay, this is done. The first section is done. Okay, now let's go to the second section. Okay, in the second section, how many elements do we have here? How many elements do we have in second section?
Four.
4.
Four elements.
Four,
Sure.
sir.
Okay, right. Let's do the similar thing here as well. Monthly subscription. For this, what we can do is I can use like paragraph. I think that I'll just use like span because I can design this like properly. So I'll say dollars 29, right, per month. And we have paragraph full access for less than per day. We have like button, right? Button says sign up. The second section is also done. Great. Now let's go to the third section. Correct. Let me give like spaces in between so that it's kind of clearer for you guys just to understand what I'm trying to do here. Okay, I have like one section here. Let me give spaces. Oops. So I have like this first section here, right? The second, and there's a third section. Okay, so the third section is like how many elements we have? Like totally two elements, right? So we have YS and like one paragraph. Okay, so you can call it like paragraph. You can give like bullet points. As of now, I'm just like considering it as a paragraph itself. Okay, so I'll say paragraph YS. Okay, now I'll say paragraph tutorials by industry experts, peer and expert code review. Tutorials by industry experts, peer and code expert code review. Backlog developers. Next is community forum flashcard decks. New 84. Okay, so this is what we have, right? So if you see here, I got this, right? This is how our section will look like, correct? Did I miss anything here? Yes or no?
No.
No, right? Okay, so this is what this is how it actually looks like. Okay, now let's go to CSS. Now this our job here is done. We might add like few classes here. We'll do that later. But the first thing is in CSS, right? In CSS, what is the first thing I have to do here? What is the first thing?
Box size, I mean,
Margin 0, padding 0, box
margins.
sizing, border box.
Okay. So once I do this, right, this will get collapsed here. See, everything gets collapsed. I removed the style. I mean, like background color. That's fine. Everything gets collapsed here because all the margin default margin is gone. Right. That's fine. Now what we have to do here is see here. Now just like see this. This the sections are kind of equal, right? I mean, like these are like kind of equal. This the length is equal, right? So what I'll do is I'll just create like. Yes, I'll create like one section, what do you call, one class known as section, or else just like I can target the direct element section we have. In the section, I'll give like height as 30 VH, okay, or 35 VH, consider 35 VH, okay. So what happens if I give like 35 VH for the height? Any idea? What should happen? Tell me.
The box or the height
Take
will be 35.
35% of V4.
35 of the height of the boxes, right? So I have the three boxes will be 35, 35, 35, right? See here, I have this, something like this, right? Even if you don't need like the scroll box, just make sure to couple this is by 100. You can what you can give is you can just like give 33 per VH, right? So here you'll not get like any box here. See here. It's like okay, this is okay. So this is the one simple thing which you can give, and this is working. Okay. So the next thing which we need to do is, for example, if you see here, uh, yes, we have padding here as well, right? So we have padding here. Okay, so in that we can give like padding the same across all the elements, right? So let's try that whether that's where that will work or not. Let's see. And what I'll do here is I'll give padding as 25 pixels just to see how it's looking. If you want to increase, we'll do that. Okay, yeah, this looks kind of okay, decent. This is fine. Or we can go with like 20 pixels as well. Yeah, this looks neat. Okay. So this is fine. Okay. Now let's go on like styling like one by one. Okay. Now let's give like background color. Background color is kind of fine. The white is for this. This is fine. For the second, right? We have like given MS container. Correct. Here, let me use like dot MS container. And someone tell me what is the background color for this? Anyways, no worries. Leave. I'll just like digital color meter. I have to do like a lot of things here. Yeah. Okay, it's like 88176176. Okay, so even you can give what do you call? Even you can give the color in RGB. Okay, so I'll say background color RGB or 86, I guess, right? 86176 What's that correct? 86
It's 88.
88. Okay, sorry for that. Oops. 88, right? Yes. If I give like 88, yep, that should be correct, right? Now for dot ys container, So we will do the thing. I'll say background color should be RGB of what is that? It's 106, 188, 188, right? So I'll say RGB 106, 188, 188. Okay, so I got this. Now let me save this. Let me reload the page. See, this is looking proper. Okay, so this looks kind of now it's coming along. So whatever we have here, it's coming like that. Okay, but if height is concerning you, just like go with like 35 vh. Okay, 35 vh or like 40 vh, that is fine. But I'll give like 33 vh as of now, just to align the things. Okay, and let's test this layout in like some other devices as well, just to see whether the things are working properly or not. In Nexus 65, see, yeah, here also it's looking good. If I go to Pixel 2, Galaxy S5, this is also fine. Pixel 2 is also fine. Okay, because we have not given like any fixed height or width, so it's like looking proper. Okay, cool. Now let's go to Galaxies 4. Huh. Now here let's start building the things, right? Joiner container, joiner community container, and within that we have like this three paragraphs, right? So here we can do one thing. See, what we can do is we can create like one more common style, because if you see here, right, where is that? Yep, if you see here for the headings, right, we have, what do you call, for this heading we have the same what you call font size. Okay, now I'm considering the font size is same. There you might say like this is like there is like subtle difference, but I'll just like keep it same. Okay, for this we have like same font size. So what I'll do is I'll create like one class here called uh, heading. Okay, so here I'll say font size, I'll give like a 1.5 rem. So when I say 1.5 rem, what does it exactly mean?
1.5 into 68 pixel.
16 into
Exactly,
1.5.
into 16, correct? Yeah. So let me apply that. Can I apply like, okay? Let me apply here. Okay, class here as a heading. Okay, so I'll apply here as well. Class here as heading. Here I'll apply class here as heading. Okay, just like, let me see if you see it. Right, this is appearing, and it looks like much bigger. Let me go like 1.2 rem or like 1 rem is also enough, I guess. Yep, this looks much better, right? So let me say font weight bold. Now let me just go to Google Fonts. What was the font family?
Karla.
Kerala, right? Is the one, I guess. So I'll just go here and I'll say I don't need light is on. And one more thing is, whenever you're like selecting these fonts, right? I don't know whether I have mentioned it or not. Don't select like all the fonts. What happens is, if you're selecting like, if you have like a lot of styles in your website, the website, what do you call, loading speed will get decreased. Okay, so that's the reason. Just like choose the one which are necessary. Just like don't keep on doing like pre-selecting all those things. Don't do that. Okay, so we usually use like regular, and we use bold, right? Just like select regular, and if you want you can select this as well. Okay, regular and select medium. Oops, where did it go? Where did it go? Go. Okay, and let me reload it. I don't have time to search that. And yes, just like select this regular. Okay, this one. Yep, let me copy this. Okay, now let me put it in my index.html. And I'm putting this link tag before my custom external style sheets. Why I'm doing this is in this order is because I might be using these fonts in this. That's the reason. What I'm saying is, first load this, after that load this. Okay, sometimes that will not exactly happen, but it gives you like sense saying like, okay, first I have to load this, then I have to load that. Okay. Now let me use in the body, right? I'll just say this. Okay,
So that for everything it's like appearing properly. Now let me reload the page. Now it's like appearing everything properly, right? So like join our community monthly subscription. Why is this is fine. This looks much better. Okay. And here if you want to add like what you call font sizes, right? If you want to extra add like font sizes, you can do that as well. Here, see here, I'll just like show you like a very simple trick. You have this URL, right? For example, let's assume you want to add like medium here, right? But if you see like only this part changed, there's a reason you can even like add you can just do and you can add this. That is also fine. If that's like kind of completely tough for you, just like copy paste again. That's it. I don't need this. Why am doing it? Oops. Let me just keep this side by side. Hmm. Let me replace this with this. Right. Now we have this. Okay, this is fine. The next thing which we have to do is wait a second. Where is that? Yep. Next thing we have to do is we have this particular thing, right? Okay, let me give like uh, heading below heading. There is like a same spacing, right? Let me give that in heading itself as a part of heading class, and just do it whenever you think this is kind of common across all the sections. Don't do it like when it's like not common. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so I'll say a margin bottom as like one rem. Okay, now it's like looking okay. This looks kind of fine. One rem, or you can go with like 1.2 rem. This is also fine. Yes, if you're like wondering whether we can give like margin bottom and like rem, yes, we can do that. Obviously, it's taking 1.2 rem in the sense how much we cut math. Okay, into 16. If we say it's like a 19.2. Okay, so we are saying like margin bottom is like 19.2 pixels. Okay. Cool. So we did like till here. Okay, now let me just increase this to 35. Okay. Now we can scroll. That is fine. Okay. So till now, do you guys have any questions? Any questions? Any doubts?
No, sir.
No. All clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Oops. Yeah. Okay. Now let's proceed. So we have this then. Okay, so I'll do one thing, right? See, you can design, you can give like this colors and all those things, right? That's fine. The major thing is I want to show you the responsiveness, right? So just like I'll not design this much, but we'll just talk about the layout, how the layout gets shifted and all those things. Okay, let's introduce the responsiveness. Okay, so I'm not wasting the time much. You can just like add border radius to this button. You can give like background color. That is fine, right? It might take me some time again to add all those things. I'll just like skip that. Now what I'll do is now this is like, see, once you now if you deploy this site, this will look proper in the phone. Okay, this will look like this in the phone, and if you want to see it in like in Nexus 6, this is also here also it's looking okay. Okay, here if you see in Galaxy S5, here also it's looking fine. Okay, if you see in Pixel 2, here also it's looking fine. Okay, now what if I go to iPad? Okay, now let's assume some of our user is viewing it on the iPad. If I see it in the iPad, the layout looks kind of okay, but the problem here is the fonts which you're seeing here, right? This looks very tiny, right? I mean, like it's not readable at all. Correct. So responsiveness is not only about the layout, it's about how you manage all the content on your website, right? So content in the sense you have like text, you might be having image. For example, if a person is viewing it on the phone, it will appear properly. Okay, if he's viewing it on the a tablet, the font will look very small. Okay, so here even if you are not like modifying the layout, you should upgrade, or like if you should increase the font sizes or image sizes. Okay, now let's introduce you to responsiveness. Okay, so when we talk about media queries, right? So if you want to add responsiveness to your website, then there is something known as media queries. Okay, so we have to use media queries. So what is media queries? Media queries are the what rules in CSS which is used to define how the website should behave in like certain what do you call it, in certain resolution. Okay, so there are like multiple ways of writing media queries, but the best way when you go with like mobile first approach, right? I'll tell you the easiest way. Just follow that along every time. Okay, don't mess up. If you see like online, right, there are like hundreds of tutorials will showing you hundred of ways. If you keep on doing that, it will again it will mess up with the brain. So the simple way I'll just show you here is, see, whatever you have written the styles, this is like belonging to what? Phone, right? This is since we have started like with a mobile first approach, whatever you are seeing here, this is in the phone. But if I just, I mean, like if I remove this style, right? See, if I see it in the desktop also, it's looking the same thing, okay? But the fonts are like small. If I just expand this here, see here, this will look something like this, okay? But the fonts are small, okay? But the layout is also not proper because in the desktop the layout should be this, this bottom should be left and right, right? So yep. So now let's keep on doing this. Someone's trying to join. Okay. Oh, fine. Now let's talk about media queries, okay? So now till now what we did was we said whatever we are writing styles here, write it write it for the phone, right? Now here what I'm trying to do here is, see how to write media queries. Media, if you want to write media queries, all the media queries will start with at media, okay? At media, okay? If you want to give screen, or like you can just like give min width and max width. Guys, just give me a second, I'm getting a call. And I'm really sorry just like for doing this kind of in between, right? I mean, like, 1 second, just give me a second. Rosie, yeah. So I was saying, so yeah, whatever the styles you have written here, right? This is for the phone, okay, mobile, okay. Now, at some particular point, you want to override in the sense, once it reaches that particular resolution. For example, this you might want to keep this resolution till 600 pixels, which I was saying earlier, right? But once the width reaches 600 pixels, you want to make some changes, okay? So for that, what you can do is you can say at media screen, and here in the bracket you need to add the width, okay? So minimum width. So what we are saying here is width. Let me just write it here, then I'll tell you. Okay, so yeah, see now what exactly this means is, when I what I'm saying is, on any screen, if the minimum width is 600 pixels, okay, so before 600 pixels this will get applied, okay? But when it reaches 600 pixels, when the resolution reaches 600 pixels, apply this all the styles which is at the top, plus apply this whatever you're like defining here, okay? So apply this complete thing at the top, and apply this as well, okay? And there is some scenario where you're like just doing you're just like changing the background color, so you are doing something like this, then you can do that as well, okay? So now let's see how it actually works. So what I'll do here is, I'll say wait a second, I'll say we have this heading, right? Okay, I'll just take this heading itself, okay? Now what I'll do is, for this heading, right, I'll just increase the font size, okay? So here we have like font size is 1.2 rem, right? But once it hits like 600 pixels, I want the font size to increase to 5 rem, just to show you the difference whether that is working or not, okay? Here it got increased to 5 rem. Why it got increased to 5 rem? What is the width of our device now?
760.
768.
768 pixel, right? Now just to test this, I'll just like keep reference on
600
my screen.
pixels.
No, not 600, it was 768, right? So here, just to test it, right, what I'll do is I'll give like 400 pixel here, okay? See, this is how it will look like in a 400 pixel, okay? And I'll just keep on increasing this, okay? So if your width is a 410, 420, 430, 440, I'll just like go with like 580. So if you go with 580, 586, 587, up to 587, 588, 589, 590, up to 599, right? These are the styles which are getting applied, okay? Now we have defined here min width as 600 pixels, in the sense, once this resolution reaches 600 pixels, see all the design changes, okay? Are we clear with this?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes,
this is the
sir.
one thing which you need to understand, what exactly here min width, in the sense, whatever we are applying here, that will get applied to the phone, okay? And whenever you are like defining some media query here, we call this the media query, okay? And whatever the minimum width you're defining, when you reach that point, this whatever you have at the top, this plus this. Okay, now if the class name is same, see here, if we have the class name same, right? We have the heading here, we even have like heading here, right? So in this case, what happens is it will override this element, font size 5 rem, it will override, and rest of the elements it will add it from here. See, this will get only changed, and this both will get added to here as well. Okay, so only the elements which are getting changed here, that will get changed. Okay, rest of the elements will be the same. Okay, are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Great, awesome. So what I'll do is, see, we were talking about this, right? So once you go to 768 pixel, okay, iPad, I have given like minimum it is like 600 pixel I have given, that is fine. Once we reach like 600 pixel, right? This font size, right? This font size looks very small, right? Okay, let me just what is here, 1.2 heading font size is 1.2 IM. Here I'll try to make like 1.8 just to see how it's looking. Yeah, see, this looks much better, right? At least it's readable. Now let's talk about this paragraph. Okay, here we have not defined any styles here. So that's the reason I'll just like target the paragraph directly. Okay, I'll just say paragraph. I want to give it like a font size as a 1.8 rem. Okay, just to see how it will look like. Here it's looking proper. See, this looks much readable, right? Now if I go to again Moto G4, see here, this is looking, this is like obviously this proper. And if you go to Nexus, see it's looking proper. But once it go to iPad as well, we are increase the font size to 1.8 rem. Okay, so this is looking, but the font size looks same here, right? Let me just change it to 1.5 heading, and that looks same. 1.5 is fine. Okay, so this is how we do. Okay, are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. The next thing is, yeah, this is like one thing. If you want to, what do you call, change the font sizes and all those things. But if you see here, right, here comes the interesting part, right? So if you see here, these are a mobile design, but once it goes as a desktop design, right, it should happen like this. Now this is weird because here we have like one top of another, but here what we have is we have like the top element as complete horizontal, and the bottom two elements are kind of seated side by side, right? So for this, right, let's see how we can do it. Okay, now we have like these three sections, right? We have these three sections. Okay, and we have the classes for these three sections, correct? What is the classes we have? We have like MS container, we have WU container, and all those things, right? Now I have like JOC container. This is fine. So since we have class here, what I'll do is, now I'll write like another media query here. I'll say at media. Okay, at media screen, and I'll say min width. Okay, so what I'll say is min width, I'll say 1024 pixel. Okay, this is like a base resolution of a desktop or a laptop. Okay, so once it reaches, and one more thing, guys, and one more thing which I wanted to say is, see, once you give like this min width, right? So you're giving like min width as 600 pixel here. Now if I'm not defining this media query, let's assume, okay, if I don't have this media query, from 600 pixels up to any resolution, this will get applied. Okay, unless and until you override it. Correct, just remember that. Okay, so if I remove this, whatever we have the CSS here, this will get applied even if you're like viewing it on phone, tablet, or desktop, laptop, whatever you do it. Okay, to override it, what we are doing is we are saying once you reach like 600 pixels, apply these things. Okay, this will get applied, and this will get applied since you have given like min width here. This will get applied to any resolution above 600 pixel. It might be 600 pixel or 6000 pixel. This styles will get applied. But if you want to override it to change few things to, in certain resolution, then I'll be doing this. Now, what exactly I mean is apply this from 0 pixel to 600 pixel, the top one. Then apply this from 600 pixels to what?
1024.
1024,
0
right?
to 4 pixel.
Then once you hit 1024, with this plus apply this. Okay, if I'm overriding it, what will happen is that will override. If I'm not overriding it, if I have like new styles, that will get applied. Okay, that's exactly what it means. Okay, so once it hits like 1024, I want to do like very simple thing. See here, what I want to do is, if you see the style here, right here, this container is occupying like 50% width, right, and this is occupying 50% width. So for that, what I'll do is I'll just like yeah, I'll just like right here. Once it goes to menu tags 1024, I'll say dot ms container. Okay, dot ms container occupy width as 50%. Okay, 50%. Okay, now I have dot w container here, also occupy width as 50%. Okay, now let me try to expand this. Okay, so I'll say laptop mattress. If you see here, oops, let me read it. If you see here, now it's occupying 50-50%. Now what is the problem here now? What is the problem? I want this to come to the right to it. What I
Both,
can
sir.
do?
Both.
Both are block level
Right.
elements.
Yeah, both are block level elements. I can either convert it to inline block, or I can give like what you call float here, right? I'll just like
Float.
put like a float here, right? I'll say float to left, and I'll say float to right. Okay. If I save this, see, now it's looking properly. Okay, the problem but with this approach is the height is not taking properly as is it. For this, what we will do is here we have JOC container, right? We will do like very simple thing here. We have dot JOC container as well. The top one will say height as 50 VH. Okay. You guys know what is VH, right?
View. View
Viewport
height.
height. Okay.
Viewport height.
Viewport height.
Mhm. So 50 VH. For this also, I'll just like do the same thing. See, it's looking properly now. Right now, let's do a cross testing. I'm going like the G4, like here also it's looking good, pretty good. Now let me increase the size. Font is Nexus 6, it's also looking good. Go to Pixel 2, here also it's looking good. If I go to iPad, iPhone X, here also it's looking good. iPad, here also it's looking good. If I go to laptop mid resolution, here also looking good. Now let's view it on my normal laptop. Okay, so my laptop resolution is pretty high. So if I view here, here also it's looking amazing, right? This is what responsiveness means. Did you guys get like a very basic idea how the things work?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Okay, great. Now, yes. Now I'll tell you like a few more things. Okay, here like some of the things which you need to understand is, for example, huh, let me just click on inspect. You go to Pixel 2 here. Now this layout was like very simple. I mean, like we did it like very simple with like very less number of styles, and we did it, and that's fine. Sometimes what happens is you will be getting layouts which is kind of complex. Okay, complex in the sense you'll be getting layouts where the design of phone, right, the responsive design of phone doesn't even match with the design of the desktop. It's like completely different, and in that case you can't directly handle like this, right? And that in that scenario there is like one property which will get which is like kind of famous. Okay, so that property is display none. For example, let's assume I have this join a community a monthly subscription. Okay, but let's assume I don't have this YS in my what do you call this what do you call in the tablet version. Yeah, I don't have this YS section in the tablet version, but I have this YS section in the phone. Okay, so if you want to hide that this version, if you want to hide this version in the tablet, how you can achieve that? Okay, so that's the question. See, for example, if I'm viewing it in the tablet, see here also it's like appearing ys, right? But if I go to this ys should appear when I am on the phone. When I am on the phone, the ys should appear, but when I go to iPad it should not appear. I mean, like once I go to like above 600 pixels it should not appear. Like there are scenarios where you want to do this kind of thing because some elements will be appearing on the phone and some elements will be appearing on the desktop, but those will be not common in the both of things. If you want to do something like this, right, what I'll be doing is that is like ys section, right? So what I'll do is I'll say w container here, and 600 pixels I'll say display none. Okay, I'll say display none. Okay. When you say display none, what exactly I'm saying is hide that particular thing. Okay. So this property is used to just hide that particular thing. Now let me save this. And if I say here, it's gone. Now let's go in the phone. It's present here, right? Here it's gone. Where is gone? iPad is it's gone. See here. Now I'll ask you like one question. Now it's gone in iPad, right? Now what happens if I just like go to respond? I mean like in the laptop, will it be there or it will be gone?
It will be there.
Will be there,
It will
sir.
be there. Sure. Okay, let's test it out. It's gone, right? What I said. You guys didn't notice my words then. See, what I said was whenever it hits this, right? Whenever it hits
600
this,
pixels, sir.
whenever it hits 600 pixels, it will do this plus whatever you're defining this. Okay. Now, when we are hitting this 1024 pixel, then it will obviously apply this, right? This plus this. Now, here we have view content display none. Correct? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
This will get applied here as well. That's the reason whenever you're doing like display none, and if you want to revert that effect, what you have to do is I'm doing like display none here, right? For view content here, you have to do display block. Okay. If you do this, see here it got applied here. Okay. Now it's see now it's proper. Now if I go to phone now, let's test it out. In the phone I have, in the iPad I don't have, in the desktop or laptop I have again. Okay. So this is how these are the some of the scenarios where like display and property will be very very useful. Okay. So if you know this property, how to manage this property, right? This will be save you like hours of work. Just understand this. Okay. Cool. And there might be sections which are like not completely adaptable to the desktop. Then what you can do is you can design two sections. One keep like visibility display block for the mobile. Once it hits like iPad or desktop, make it none. Okay. Then you can like avoid like countless of hours. Are we clear with this?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so now what we'll be doing is yeah, so I'll just like give you like 5 minutes. Just think, if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. No questions?
Sir, like it's a very silly question.
Mhm.
Actually, when you selected the color, right, you are
Mhm.
like selecting using, right click. Or I
uh,
just wanted to know how you did that.
this one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, this is like one tool Vignesh, which I have installed. I mean like this comes bundled with Mac.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You have like this kind of things in the Chrome extension as well. You can see that. Just like search for what is that? There was like
Color
one tool.
picker.
Color picker, correct. Color picker. You can use that. It's like similar thing.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions?
Jungle,
Yeah.
just to zoom this website, what you have prepared now, once. If you
Yes.
zoom that, the content is not zoom in and zoom out once. No, no, just zoom. Normally, you zoom in and zoom out, right? The web pages.
Here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I zoomed in, zoomed out.
No, when I'm doing zooming and zooming out with my assignment, right? It is getting
Mhm.
messed up.
Why? Okay. So, 1 second. Here, let me just do it here. Like this.
Yeah, yeah, I like this, like this, like this.
This will happen because you're like zooming in, right?
That is
Why?
okay, right?
Why you will zoom? That's fine. That's completely
Uh,
fine. And even you can just like avoid this as well. We have like few properties to avoid this, but that is like against accessibility. You don't have to do that. For example, if I am a person with a disability, I can't see properly. What I'll do is I'll just like zoom in and I'll see it. That's like I mean like a default behavior of the browser. I think that's fine.
okay, okay.
Not an issue. Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Cool then. I mean like that's it from my end. I will not take today. Today is like holiday and it's like Friday as well. So there will be like a lot of
Jumal
overlapping.
sir,
Yep.
just one question.
Yeah,
In
go ahead.
index.html,
Mm-hmm.
I missed the previous class also. Just
Mm-hmm.
go here, the meta and this one.
Mm-hmm.
Just scroll up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here, meta and this
Mm-hmm.
one. Can you just explain that one, please?
Yeah, this I will explain once I start JavaScript. This is part of that. I'll just tell that this. Don't worry
Okay,
about
sir.
this.
Yeah. Okay.
But just like keep this because see and one more thing is if you remove this, right, if you remove this thing and if you're like building responsive websites, it will not properly scale up. Okay, just keep this. I'll tell you simple things. See what exactly this meta. See, meta is like a basically you're giving some instructions to the browser. Okay, so it's not like seen by the user. So when you say meta, right, this is like some of the machine information. So what you're saying here is uh, you're instructing browser to use like we are getting like a lot of char set in the sense we have like a lot of encoding such as UTF-16, UTF-8, and we have ASCII and all those things. Here in this case, what we are saying to the browser is our website will be using char set as UTF-8. Okay, even if you remove this, that will work fine. Okay, but by default we are saying use this. Even if you remove this, that will work fine. And the second thing is this is like one of the meta information which you are providing. Okay, so if it is like if it is like browser is edge, do something. I exactly don't know what is http equivalent is. Okay, I just need to check this meta. I don't know this. And this meta, right, like especially meta is like just like a information to the browser. Okay, so this is like one of the important meta. See here what you're saying is for the viewport, always scale initial level initial scale as one, in the sense whenever we are using viewport, then if you are using some device, if you are like using phone, just take its resolution. That's the reason we are saying initial scale as one. Okay, you will be getting like a lot of meta information, and meta is very useful when you want to do SEO optimization. So when we say SEO optimization, right, so when you do Google search, for example, you're like launching some website, and and if you do like search your website on the Google, that will be not visible. Why that will be not visible? The SEO of your website is like very low. If you want to increase the optimization, SEO optimization on your website, so that whenever Google, I mean like search engines should able to pick that, grasp that, then you have to do something else, SEO optimization. Okay, for that there are like a lot of techniques. Then you have to choose the some of the keywords and you have to put it in meta as well, so that what search engines do is it will go through the indexes. For example, let's assume you're building like you're building a site for a restaurant. Okay, a restaurant which is in Fraserton, Bangalore. Okay, assume that. Now someone like me who is staying around Fraserton, I'll just like put like Fraserton best restaurant. Then this keyword should be here you present in the meta. If you have written like Fraserton best restaurant, and I am also the person who is searching for the same words, what exactly Google or like a search engine does is it will index saying like, okay, this website contains these terms, and we have to show it like we should rank that website a bit more. Okay, so that will come into a first page probably. Okay, if you want to make it come to the first then you have to do like a lot of things there. Okay, it's like people spend like huge of money, like lots of money to do that. But from a development perspective, that is like completely that's like a part of SEO optimization. You don't have to worry about it. The people who are doing SEO optimization, those people will worry about it. But still, but as a part of developer, you should know what exactly meta tagging is. But I'll go with that. I mean like I'll go with, for example, I'll take like 15 to 20 minute session based upon that itself. Okay, there are like some meta tags such as key and all those things that is used to optimize SEO. Okay, how we will do that, we'll see that in some time later. Okay.
So you just from the starting is find the colors and font size. How did you? Can you show me once again? How did you do that?
Which one?
The you find the colors and font size in on your desktop, going on your desktop. So
That's what I said, right? I mean, like that's like a tool. I have installed. I mean, like that comes bundled with the Mac, with the laptop. Okay, so
Okay.
we have something called digital color meter. See here, if you use this, see here, here it will show what is the values, RGB values. Here, right? Similar to this, you have what do you call color picker. You can use that. That will be available in the Chrome as well. Okay, you can use that. This is what you are asking, right?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. No worries. So that's it from my end. Like we have like almost completed the CSS. So if you want to practice this, right, practice this. And tomorrow, what we'll be doing is I will be taking another class tomorrow, and we'll be covering Flexbox. Okay, so Flexbox like is really really important. So we even have like Flexbox and Grid, but we'll be not going into Grid. The cross browser compatibility of Grid is okay. So I need to even cover like cross browser compatibility. I'll cover these two things tomorrow. Okay, Flexbox and cross browser compatibility. If you are using some any new CSS properties, right? First, you should just, if it's like working in Chrome, it doesn't mean like it will work in all the browsers. Okay, you need to figure out cross browser compatibility, like where it will work, where it will not work. For example, I am the user who is viewing your website in Firefox. Now Firefox doesn't support your CSS tag. Then what happens is your site will break. Okay, so all these things should be, you should keep in mind while you are building the websites. Okay, build like a proper accessible website. Just like don't build for the sake of building. Okay, build for the sake of that purpose. Okay, then only you'll be achieving it. If you, for example, if you're like building it for some NGO, build it so that it's like kind of reachable to the people who are trying to, who are the target audience. Do it like that. If you are building for a restaurant, do it like that. Okay, build it, I mean like keep the users in mind, so how they will accelerate. Just like don't break the CSS somewhere, somewhere it's working in mobile, it's working, it's just stop not working. Don't do that. If you're trying to build something like that, don't build at all. Okay, if you're building, build it properly. Yeah, obviously I'm not saying it's easy. It might take you couple of days to couple of weeks or like couple of months to grasp complete thing to build a perfect website, but it's worth at the end of the day, right? Even if you don't want to go to the job, right? Let's assume you want to do some sort of freelancing, you're getting some project, or in relatives you have like some people who wants their website to get done, then you can easily reach out to them. You and like you can do the business there itself, right? You can earn the money as well, but be professional. And whenever you're building, like complete it properly, do it like pixel perfect. That's it guys. I mean like yeah, it's like 9 o'clock. I don't want to drag